Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can of course follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. And welcome to Saturday's edition of the Doctor Who Daily. What does Doctor Who mean to me? Well, as I explain to you what Doctor Who means to me, I'd love to know in the comments down below what this character means to you. I want to hear your favourite versions, and there will be no disparity or toxicity from me if I don't like your versions. I may even respond to you and have a conversation about them. Everything's valid here on Movies TV Mad. We are not some toxic place that invalidates what you love. What does the Doctor mean to me? What does this show mean to me? Growing up as a child, it was always Hollywood and America coming up with the great shows, sci-fi, imagination, the vessel to escape, the vessel for escapism. So it was very interesting to me that all of a sudden a few shows made by Brits, made by British television, were doing this very same thing. Doctor Who, Blake Seven, things like that, Sapphire and Steel, all great shows. But they all had a very low budget. They had great concepts, but they had a low budget and low production values. I hate the term production values because it's like you're purposely shooting in a cupboard rather than using high-res cameras and great special effects. These shows just didn't have the budget. Doctor Who didn't have the budget. But what its concept allowed you to do was look beyond its budget and how it was being shot. It forced you to use your imagination. And I don't know how they came up with it. A little 1950s, 1960s police box. You go in it and it becomes this amazing, white, huge, bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. Isn't that the most amazing thing? It's a bit like the Chronicles of Narnia, going into a cupboard, wardrobe, and then going into Narnia. That's what the TARDIS is. It's a magic wardrobe. You go in it, and that's where the magic begins. And as a child, to see people go in this random, unmagnificent police box and walk into a spaceship that can be literally a spaceship. It can go around different planets, but it can also go backwards in time, forwards in time. And it was piloted, let's not forget there were no female doctors back then, so I can use this term, a madman. A nutty professor, if you like, you know, a Doc Emmett Brown kind of character. I mean, Doc Emmett Brown himself was perceived from Doctor Who. That's where they came up with the character. It's a fact. Doctor Who has inspired so much great originality itself. Doctor Who, like Star Wars, was inspired by the Chronicles of Narnia. The Lion, Witch and the Wardrobe. As I say, walking into that small space, that unmagnificent looking space, and then entering this vast, huge world. Imagine that as a kid, using your imagination and imagining walking into that police box and walking into this massive, beautiful vessel with this unique character, with so much knowledge and intellect. But the character's very immature. The Doctor's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to be around the Doctor. But as I said the other day, the Doctor can be selfish, the Doctor isn't perfect, the Doctor is very flawed, the Doctor should be very flawed. That's what makes the Doctor so amazing. The Doctor is literally taken from many characters from historical storytelling. He really is. And it's an amazing character as well as an amazing concept. As I say, walking into this police box and finding, you know, the box of delights, if you like. It's amazing, and it opens up your imagination straight away. That's why kids have always loved Doctor Who. From that magical concept of walking into this unmagnificent thing and finding something so magnificent. For children, it must be sensational, especially now where there is production values, where there is a high budget. It must be amazing. But in a show where you can do anything, sometimes you don't go as far as doing anything. There's lots of things I'd love Doctor Who to do that it's never done. Maybe it will never do it, but it's the potential, isn't it? Doctor Who has that potential. And you don't really need a lot of money on the show and the product to do that, to take people to the past, to the future, the great and bountiful human empire. Thank you, Russell T Davies, for that. It was great. But there's so many places and so many aliens and so many monsters. The Doctor Who universe is a dangerous place, as is Narnia, by the way. It's not just all sunshine and Turkish delights. So once you walk into that unmagnificent looking police box, yes, the Doctor will show you so much wonder and wizardry. Not that he's a magician, but he's opening up the magic box for you, isn't he? He's even got a magic wand, he or she, right? He or she has even got a magic wand, which the Doctor calls the sonic screwdriver. It does so much more than open doors. A lot of people don't like the sonic screwdriver. They say it solves too many problems. I would break mine on screen as I regenerated as a new Doctor, saying I don't need no wands. I've explained that a couple of weeks ago. So it's a dangerous world with dangerous creatures. One thing the Doctor can never guarantee you is your safety. Now, Jodie Whittaker's Doctor was very open and frank with her fan, with her companions. It's dangerous. She's more of a responsible Doctor. She apologises constantly to her companions. Now, I don't remember a Doctor ever doing that in the past, and I could be wrong. Maybe there's a few exceptions. But the Doctor I remember, Peter Davison's Doctor, Paul McGann's Doctor, Christopher Eccleston's Doctor, David Tennant's Doctor, Matt Smith's Doctor, Peter Capaldi's Doctor, very rarely apologised for being who they were. They were selfish people who wanted people to share their adventure. People, literally, they could show off for. And it never gets old for the Doctor. Oh my God, it's bigger on the inside. Is it? I remember the Tennant's Doctor doing that with Martha. Great. And creatively, it was something very, very special. And so you're opening this new world full of potential to these people. But ultimately, you could get them killed. And then you have to ask the question, like we do in life, would you have rather gone down the straight road, which would have been unmagnificent, boring even, and lived the full life till you're 100 or something? Or would you like to travel with the Doctor, where it's dangerous and it's exciting? You can explore and you can make a difference. You can meet different humans from the past and the future, aliens, worlds. You can meet the face of Bo, the Slovene. I think I know what I'd want to do. How would I react if I met the Doctor, if there was a Doctor in real life? And I went in that TARDIS and literally he's taking off and there's no seatbelts or nothing. We just got to hold on. I would shit a brick. I'd be screaming to get off. But I still wouldn't want to get off. I mean, I'm someone who's scared of these amusement park rides. Once I went on the big wheel and I was screaming, they had to get me off. I was so scared. So who knows how I'd react to a flight on the TARDIS. But it's magnificent. And that's really what the Doctor means to me and what Doctor Who means to me. It's a vessel for escapism, but not just escapism. Doctor Who's always been about education as well. It's been political at times, all through its history. I think probably it was better in its older days about being political. I think now it's a bit too transparent with Chris Chibnall. That's a shame, but all entertainment is transparent. They put their big DMs on, they go clunking in, don't they? Without no nuance when they're talking politics. And it's very important when you talk politics as a writer. I'm a writer. I write plays, I direct plays, I star in plays here in Cyprus, and I can get political, but I would never ever, and this is my cardinal rule, never tell people how to think. Every political opinion is, when somebody else receives it, could be something that they hate. So you don't lecture people, you don't tell people how to think, and that's my cardinal rule. And I think that's the cardinal sin creativity and entertainment creates today. So Doctor Who's always been political, and there's no point denying that. It's just the way they write the political narratives these days. They're not very good. The entertainment industry is run today by people who believe that men are the insipid evil and women are good, and if it wasn't for men, everything would be all right. We're all asked to do this and be like this. And it can be very poisonous to watch entertainment these days for a man or a boy or a young lad. So you mustn't do that. If a young boy's watching your show, you mustn't make them feel like they're a piece of shit. And mostly Doctor Who in its history hasn't done this. Doctor Who is for everyone, always has been, no matter what colour you are, what gender you are, what sexual preferences you have. Doctor Who has been very rarely about sex anyway. I mean, Doctor Who became a little bit more sexual with the revival, in terms of Rose and the Doctor being in love, River and the Doctor being in love. They've done it a couple of times now. I hope in the future, and this is why I hope that Yaz and the Doctor don't fall in love. It may be hinted, I don't know. And it's not because they're both the same gender, I couldn't give a shit about that. I like to see the companions and the Doctors be friends, to be opposites, sometimes even enemies. I've come up with 2 brilliant storylines, even if I do say so myself, for Doctor Who seasons I would like to showrun and play the Doctor in. And I've spoken about that before. There's one where the Doctor has a companion that hates him or her or whoever, blames the Doctor for the death of his or her family. And he conspires with Davros and the Master and the Daleks and the Cybermen to trap the Doctor in the Genesis Ark. So all closed season the Doctor will be trapped in the Genesis Ark. And when we meet him again, he's gone fucking mad. And this is a damaged Doctor. That's one of my arcs and one of my seasons. And there's another one where the Doctor meets a mother and a little girl, and the mother's dying. Sometimes it's the daughter that's dying, or it's the mother. I'm kind of being convincing myself that it's the mother dying of an incurable illness, and the Doctor promises the little girl that somewhere in space and time they can find a cure. The Doctor had made a ridiculous promise that the Doctor can't keep, and this is the problem here. Now what you could do, you could combine the first concept I had with the second concept. The Doctor makes a promise he can't keep, the mother dies, and then the companion grows to hate him. So that could be a thing. But that's the kind of thing I would do. But you can also have the companions and the Doctor have this great friendship. One thing I miss from the classic era is alien companions. We haven't had them really in the revival, not full time. I'm bored with the attractive young human girl from wherever. I think Donna was very refreshing because she wasn't young. She was a lady in her 30s, 40s, but she was so flawed, and she was great, and Kathy played her in such a great, vivid way, and I loved that, the whole tragedy with Donna having her mind erased after becoming so much better. She's probably my favourite revival companion because she feels lived in. She feels like a person. You know, Martha and Rose were great, but they had a lot of, I don't know, they were kind of Instagram girls, if you like. I found Martha more relatable than Rose. Rose was very relatable in the way that she kind of came from a council estate, single parent family. I probably preferred her mother, Jackie, to Rose herself. I always wanted Jackie to be the full-time companion. Even Mickey. Not so much now because of Noel Clarke and everything that's happened since. But back then, I loved Noel Clarke and I loved Mickey Smith. He would have been a great full-time companion. But I do think it's time maybe that we do have an alien companion. Because I think that would be great, because you can do something so amazing. But the same thing really. Going back on that, I loved Strax and the younger character, I forgot her name now, and the alien woman. What's her name? Vestra. Was it Strax? Yeah, Jenny, Vastra, and Strax. I loved them, and there were definitely 3 characters I would have preferred them as full-time companions to Amy or Clara. And even Rory. I think Rory would have been a great full-time companion without Amy. I didn't really get into Amy that much. I liked what they did with her, or what Stephen did with her, but she wasn't really one of my favourite ones. I don't really know who my favourite companion is. Probably Tegan. I think Tegan was a very relatable companion. Tegan and I think Donna Noble are the best, because there's no messing around with Tegan. I've come on this ship. I'm lost. You fucked up my life. Just get me home. And he never ever gets her home. I think, does he eventually get her home? I can't remember now. I mean, Peter Davison's era was my first era. So I probably would always have a special place in my heart for Peter Davison, because he was way beyond his time. He was younger, because the Doctor had always been older back then. But Peter Davison came after the most popular Doctor ever at that time. So Peter Davison had a very, very difficult kind of gap to fill. And I think he did it. He didn't stay very long, but he stayed long enough. I think he was a great Doctor. He was a virile, young, attractive Doctor, really like David Tennant's Doctor. And it's ironic that, you know, David married his daughter. And that's great. I love Peter Davison, and I regret what happened to him on social media. He was just airing his own opinion. I didn't agree with the opinion so much. I don't think young boys need a male necessary to look up to, just a great character. The Doctor was going to be a woman. Doesn't matter. Your sons, your nephews, your pupils can look up to a female Doctor. I don't think anything's been taken away. But male leading roles have been taken away, and that's wrong. That's not representation, that's revenge. And we've had that discussion before on this channel, many a time. But that's what the Doctor means to me. A vessel into escapism and knowledge and education. There really is no one out there like the Doctor and his universe and his enemies. It really is grand storytelling. And I think it's been absolutely fantastic for me that it's come into this modern era where there's money injected into it. It's really epic. It has a great orchestra in terms of music. Murray Gold, for me, is an amazing composer. I want to see him back. Listen, the guy, and I forgot his name now. Oh, God, yeah, I forgot his name. Sorry about that. He's a good composer. The guy who does it now. Sagan Akinola, that's it. Sagan's okay. Actually, his music was much better for me in season 12 than it was in season 11. It felt like mood music in season 11. But then when he composed the Masters, Sacha Dhawan's Masters theme, yeah, that's a great theme. Brilliant. But I'm quite happy for Sagan to go and Murray to come back. A controversial opinion that a lot of YouTubers don't like. YouTubers are very territorial. They believe their opinions are their opinions. I don't count myself as a YouTuber. Never. My channel's called Movies TV Mad. I love Doctor Who. I love DC. I love films. I love TV. I'm not a YouTuber, and I don't want to be a YouTuber, and especially not an elite one, because they've got a really, really bad reputation. They've got a reputation of toxicity towards their own subscribers. When people weren't happy about The Timeless Children, and you've heard my opinion about it before, I won't judge it until I see the complete story concluded. I like elements of it. I think it's interesting. But to invalidate people's anger about the canon breaking, if people want to be angry about that, they have every right to. They pay their license fee, they buy their box sets, they buy their memorabilia, you know, they buy their merch. They put money into the franchise, and as long as they're constructive, they have every right to criticise when they don't like Doctor Who. And just because you're a YouTuber doesn't give you the right to block people because they're not making the noises you want them to make. You will never force people to think like you that way, and you should never, ever force people to think like you. But yeah, I would love to know what Doctor Who means to you, because to me, the Doctor is vast, he's magical, or she's magical, whoever's playing the Doctor at that time. It's an amazing character within an amazing universe. It's taught me so much. It's entertained me. It's enlightened me. It's a beautiful thing. And I will carry on supporting the Doctor Who universe, because I think it's the best. I think it's amazing. And it's been here all my life. And I hope I've always got that little kid inside. Well, that's not, let me say that again. These days you can't say something like that. So, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. Anyway, let's start again. So I hope that does this sound weird as well? Right. I hope the eternal youth in my heart, that's it, I'll say it like that. The eternal youth in my heart will always make me love the Doctor. Because the Doctor is kind of for families and children, but it's also for adults who grew up with him. Like everything in the media, it's for all of us. Just because something's made for children, it doesn't mean you can't like it. Just because Christmas is perceived for children, it doesn't mean I can't get excited for it. That's the thing. So Doctor Who is special, and that's what the Doctor means to me. And please let me know in the comments down below what the Doctor means to you. This has been the Doctor Who Daily. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives, and I will see you on tomorrow's Doctor Who Daily. Don't forget to comment down below, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this perfection, and I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, goodbye.